All right, my friends, I got a treat here today. We have Kim, who we're talking to right now, and we are going to run a financial plan on old Kim here. Kim had emailed me inquiring about my services, and I tell you, my services is one of those things I don't know. It's one of those things sometimes I'm not sure it's worth it, frankly. And so, and it might well be for Kim. I don't know, but I figured let's do this. We can put it on YouTube. Obviously, the names will be protected, whatever it is, to protect the innocent, if that makes sense. But welcome aboard, Kim.
Thanks, Josh. Thanks for doing this for me.
Absolutely. Yeah.
What I'm calling about, would like to talk to you about today is my husband and I around 61, but we want to retire when we're 62 and a half, and we want to leave California and move to Amarillo, Texas.
What was the why Amarillo as opposed to any of the other places in Texas?
Well, we're trying to find the housing. It's so expensive all over, and we have a house payment here in California. We want to retire with a very low house payment if we can.
Gotcha.
Been searching it, and that's where he's found.
Okay, so you've been looking like New Mexico, Arizona, Texas, and you said Amarillo is the place that looks to be the most opportunistic in some way.
Yes, correct.
Okay, cool, good, gotcha. All right, and Kim, just share with us like how old are you again? You and your husband?
We're both 60.
Okay, and how's your health? Pretty good.
Oh yeah, our health is good.
You don't smoke, jump out of airplanes without parachutes, drive drunk? Okay.
No.
And kids?
Oh no, our kids are grown, and we have grandkids.
You do? Okay, gotcha. Right on. Are the grandkids in Texas or are they in California?
Oh, everybody's here in California.
Good. Aren't you gonna miss them?
I have twin boys, and they're telling me they're leaving California when they retire anyway.
So they're going to follow you. It's usually the other way around. It's usually the parents follow their kids, but okay. Are your parents still with us?
Yes, my mom's still alive.
Is she in California?
Yeah, she's here in California. She lives around the block.
You can miss her?
Well, me and Tim have to do what we need to do what's best for us.
Okay. And the reason you're wanting to get out of California is to get out from under the house or what?
Yes, but the taxes, the taxes that we've heard is going to goes on in California. We hate this place. I shouldn't say like that, but we don't like this place. It's a blue state. We're red, and we've always wanted to leave. So we want to state that's more friendly to our beliefs.
Okay, understood. No, I just want to make sure. I got a lot of people who are in blue states who think they have to leave because of the taxes. And I said not necessarily, but then it comes down to it's like they want to get away from the insanity of liberalism. Is your mom? Are you having to take care of your mom financially or anything like that, Kim?
Oh no.
So she's self-sufficient.
Yes.
Okay. Tim's folks, are they still around?
No.
Okay. So basically it's just you two. I mean, your kids are grown, they're self-sufficient, mom's okay, she's self-sufficient. So it's gonna be Kim and Tim partying like it's 1999, essentially.
That's right.
Okay, good. That's fantastic. And what we're gonna do here, we're gonna share our screen. We're gonna jump into this. And again, I got Tim and oops, it says Jane there. Why did it say Jane? I don't know why I didn't make it why I would. It's Tim and Kim sample. All right, so this is my sample client. And can you see that, Kim, by chance?
Yes, I can.
Okay, good. So the first thing we want to do is I want to go to income. And so both y'all are still working right now, right?
Correct.
All right. And how much is Tim? What's his annual income?
Well, I can tell you what he brings home. Is that okay?
Actually, we need gross because it's going to calculate the taxes for us. So do you know, like, it does have to be to the penny, just roughly, because you're going to start working.
4,000.
4,000 a month.
Yes.
And so he's making 48,000 a year gross, essentially.
Well, he's actually making 58. So what would that be?
Yep. All right, gotcha. Let's just put 58 in there. Yep. All right, gotcha.
Okay.
And we're trying to retire at 62.
Mm-hmm.
That will be what next? Let's see. That will be next June. Is that right?
Yes.
I don't think it lets me do to the month, actually. Let's see here. I'm going to do Tim's retirement. Hold on just a second. And we're going to go to goals. Like, I think it actually does. Yeah, it does. Okay, sweet. So Tim will be June of 2022. He'll be 62 and a half because he's getting ready to turn 61 and here in like a week, right?
Yes, correct.
Gotcha. And presumably you're going to retire at the same time, June of 2022.
Correct.
Okay, gotcha. All right, cool. All right, sweet. And then income. And Kim, what's your salary? Again, that'd be gross.
100.
Okay, gotcha. Good. That looks good. All right, fantastic. And all right, good. Now I put the information you had given me already for Social Security. And I'll just you can see the screen, right, Kim?
Yes, I can.
And so we got Tim's benefit of Social Security is full retirement age is 1884.
Mm-hmm.
And remember, folks, when you always want to put the PIA in here, and the software will calculate it for when you what year you take it. So we're just defaulting for Tim taking at 67. Not necessarily sure that's the right time. We'll figure that out. But 1884 is his Social Security benefit at his full retirement age. That's his PIA. A lot of people will mistakenly put 3,800 or something like that here, and then put age 70 there. Don't do that. Put your PIA in here. I cannot stress this enough. And then Kim, your benefit is 2745 according to what you had sent me at your full retirement age. Is that, just to confirm, is that correct?
Yes, that's correct.
Gotcha. All right. And I didn't put anything for savings. Well, let's just, for the reason I'm not, actually, let me just delete that real quick. The reason I did not want to simply because you guys are retiring in a year and a half from now. And I just want to see how we are right now from the circumstance if you were to not add anything to the portfolio. And the reason I want to do that is also just in case the market has a decline of some regard. I want to just see kind of where we are today, assuming that you don't add anything to the mix, if that makes sense. I try to be cautious in this stuff, if that makes sense.
I got it.
All right, so now let's go over to goals. All right, so we have both y'all retiring at 62 and a half. This is the one question we did not know, folks. Kim and I were chatting, and she was told by her lesser half, old Tim, that their health insurance would be $3,500 a month before Medicare. So we're going to put that in there. I don't think that's true, but be it as it may. That's what Tim told her. So we're going to run with it. So $3,500 a month. We're just going to round up to $18,000 a year for both of them until Medicare. And then once they hit Medicare, we're just going to say it's going to go to typical Part B, Part D, and a medical supplement. And so, Kim, what's happening here is that what I'm doing here is I'm just saying, when you all retire, you got 3 years of needing $36,000 a year for health insurance, and then it'll drop off significantly once you're on Medicare. And basically, Medicare, we're saying you're going to have a Part B. Are you familiar? Well, you're a nurse, right? You know all this, or do you not?
Yeah. Well, I've been watching your videos. They've been really helpful.
So
the insurance will change a little bit when we retire, but we don't have to talk about that today.
For the folks who might not be as aware, Part B is your physician service once you hit 65. That's working with a doc. Part A is your hospital insurance. Well, that's already paid for through your FICA. And then Part D is your prescription drugs. And then I always put some out of pocket for medical supplement, Medicare supplemental policy, any kind of copay and co-insurance, whatnot. It's a moving target. We just don't know. But the issue for Kim and Tim is that's a lot of freaking scratch right out the gate. That's for sure. And if that is true, and I have no clue. I've never seen it that high. But if that's true, all these guys can kiss my butt, man, because they didn't do crap. That's Trump, that's freaking Obama, all these guys, they haven't done crap while we're the ones paying the bill. It just infuriates me. All right, so I got long-term care costs. Kim, I always zero it out because I do not fall for the fear mongers that we're all going to have some significant long-term care costs. You may, but how do we know? I don't know how to model that because no one knows what it is. The vast majority of us don't. So I just always zero that out. And of course, your long-term care insurance is really just your home. What will happen is, you'll take care of Tim because the man always goes first. You're going to wipe his butt, change his diaper, then he's going to die in home. And then you're going to sell your house to move into a facility. And that will be your long-term care insurance, if that makes sense.
Yes.
Okay. And by means, if I'm if you're not following, or if I'm talking too fast, just say, hey, shut up and let me, and you can talk for sure. All right. So we got, these are old boxes. We can do anything. But I got Amarillo relocation. I did not know what kind of house you're looking at. How much is the house you're going to buy there? Any thoughts?
Probably like 160.
Oh, that's it. Oh man. Okay. Sweet. Okay, gotcha. Interesting. All right. Good. 160,000 bucks. So your property tax will probably be about 3,000. And homeowners insurance probably about 1,500. Okay. Good. All right. We'll come back to this in just a second. That's fantastic. All right. So then we got your retirement expenses of $7,600 a month as per your email. Does that include health care?
No.
Okay. Does that include, Tim's hunting and stuff?
Yes.
Does that include the cost for housing and everything?
Yes.
Okay, gotcha. All right, good. So do you think? Let me ask you a question. $7,600 a month. Do you think you'll be spending that until you guys die? Probably not. You see what I'm saying, or what do you think?
No, probably not. I agree with you. Probably travel maybe to early 70s or whatever. But yes.
Yeah, you're going where I was going with that. So that $7,600 a month, a good amount of that is for travel, right?
Correct, because we're hoping for the lower house payment.
Yes. How much would your travel budget be? What I like to do is I like to separate that out, and you can see I got this little changes to travel. How much? A lot of people say like 10,000 a year or something like that. I mean, how much? I don't want to put words in my mouth. What do you think?
We'll do 10,000 a year. That sounds okay.
Okay. And for the next 20 years or something like that, 15 years. What do you think?
Yeah, let's say 10 years.
Okay. Gotcha. Do that to 2031. All right. And so what I do then is I say, okay, $7,600, which include 10,000 a year in travel. That's going to reduce this to 81,000. Divide that by 12. So we're going to go, 81,000 divided by 12. This will reduce this to 6,750. All right, 6,750 from 7,600 because we're basically taking the travel and we're separating it into its own unique budget. Does that make sense?
Yes, it sure does.
All right. And I have a sneaky suspicion this is going to be way more than you'll be spending when you're, cranky old lady sitting on the stoop there, just playing a fiddle. All right. So let's keep going. Any other big? So we're going to move to Texas. We're going to travel. Tim's going to go hunting. Any other big goals or expenditures that you see?
Not that I can really think of. I've put a lot of thought into it, and I can't think of anything more than really that.
What kind of car do you drive, Kim?
I drive a 2003 Honda Accord.
What kind of car does Tim drive?
Ford F-250 4x4. It's a 2005.
Interesting. Huh. I wonder if anyone did a video of this saying, I bet you drive a 2013 Toyota Camry and a 2007 Ford F-150. I wonder if anyone did a video on that. Oh, yes, I did. This guy right here. Typical. 2003 Honda Accord. How many miles are on that puppy?
158.
All right. Is it still in pretty good shape?
Oh, yeah. I'm going to drive the wheels off that thing.
Yeah. And how about his, what do you say, F-250? Is that what it is?
Yes, I think he's got 450,000 miles on it. It's a diesel.
I'd say, is it a diesel? All right, gotcha. So he's got a few more years yet to go on that thing too?
That's what we're hoping.
All right, no, that's shocking to me. And I say that all in all jest. It's not shocking because I've talked to 1,000 people just like you. All these people, I tell you, man, it's crazy, Kim. Some people say, I can't afford, blah, blah, blah. And I'm looking out the window and say, what's your freaking car you're leasing there, guy? $800 a month car, and I can't afford, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, something's got to give here, Kim. You're paying this $800 a month freaking monstrosity out the garage, but yeah, you're griping about, it's nuts to me.
No, I agree. That's what I see when I drive into the parking lot at work. All these younger people that are making a lot less money than me, and these cars are driving. And then another couple of years, they get new cars. I'm like thinking, why do you do that? You should be putting more money in your 401. I mean, I just don't understand it.
And well, because they're expecting Nancy Pelosi to bail them out with $600. Hey, thanks, Nancy. All right. So the default is for both y'all live to your 90. What, you tell me, what do you think?
You can leave it there. That's fine.
All right. And just, but we have no clue. But I mean, no one's keeling over anytime soon or anything like that, right?
No, that's not the plan.
Say again.
That's not the plan.
I almost keeled over when I heard you say $3,500 a month for healthcare. All right, so let's go to net worth then, and this is where I just kind of we got 80,000 in the bank, right?
Yes.
Okay. We have. Now, I kind of looked at what you had told me about your investment. So we got Tim's 401k, or is it 403b maybe? What is it?
Yeah, I think it's a 403b.
Okay, good. And it's the same, but I just basically put him into the Wellington fund for simplicity. The Wellington is like 65% stocks, 35% bonds, nothing fancy. And he's got about 77,000 in there. Is that correct?
That's correct.
And then I got Kim, I got your 401k, and I just put that in a similar model to what the investments that you had given me. And you got about 277 in there. Is that correct?
That's no, as of today, I must have gave you the wrong thing. I think it's 292.
All right, we'll take it. All right, sweet. Good. All right, good. So we got 80,000 in cash, about 368, 369 in investments. Anything? Am I miss anything? Any other investments out there?
I wanted to add one thing to the cash because we have a mountain cabin and we're going to sell that when we leave California. And I'm pretty darn sure we could sell it for 50.
Okay, good. So should we just make this 130 then for?
Yes.
Okay.
Good.
Good. All right. That's good. So your liquid net worth, 130 cash, roughly that's about $500,000. So right now you got about $500,000 of liquid assets, give or take. Does that sound pretty spot on?
Yes.
Okay. Now we got your home in California. It's worth $340,000. It doesn't matter when you bought it, but it doesn't matter. Of which you're getting, we put property tax about $4,000, and we got annual insurance about $2,000. And the reason I did that is because that's how you figure your mortgage, your amortization. So, but that's still correct. Your property, your value of your home is about $340,000.
Yes, it sure is.
And then you got a debt on it. So we got a mortgage right now about $268, and it's costing about $1,241 a month for principal and interest. And escrow is a separate amount, which I'll show you here in just a second. But this you're going to sell to go to Amarillo, and that's so you're going to basically take the equity of this home, which would be roughly $80,000 or so, give or take, by the time you sell it, and go down to Amarillo and use that equity to purchase a house down there.
That's correct.
Okay, good. Now, we're not going to get too deep in this. Generally speaking, we want to make sure on your, especially in California, on your homeowner's insurance, and I'm not a licensed insurance guy, but we want to make sure it's replacement value, not property value, not fair market value, but replacement cost, replacement costs on homeowners insurance. You may or may not know, Kim, but do you know by chance?
I don't know, to be honest.
All right. So who's your insurance company?
It's through a broker. I don't know off the top of my head.
Okay. We always want to replace, and this not just you, Kim, but the general viewing audience, which hopefully will learn something here. Replacement cost is what you want, and the reason for that is because if the house burns down, or the a hurricane in the south, or earthquake in Kim's neck of the woods, your fair market value is $340. But hard to build a stick-built house for only $340,000. The price of lumber nowadays, the price of labor. So replacement cost is what you want. I could not stress this enough. I would imagine most insurance policies default to that today, but some people get all cranky, like they say, "I'm paying too much. It wouldn't cost me $400,000 to rebuild." It would. I'm just telling you right now. So replacement cost, and I'll let you figure that one out, Kim, with your broker to make sure you have that, if that makes sense.
That sounds wonderful.
On auto insurance, all right, we want to talk about auto insurance. What is your, we don't know that either, but do you know anything about your auto insurance policy?
I get my auto insurance. I know the value that I pay each month.
We're looking for the limits to your liability. So property damage limits, and then bodily per person for per accident and per person bodily injury per person, if that makes sense. So there's three main things here. Do you know those by chance?
I sure don't.
Okay, no one does. It's okay. In the back of your mind, tattoo this on your brain: 1, 3, and 5, and that'd be 100,000 property damage liability coverage. That means if you swiped a Tesla next to you, your insurance company will pay for up to $100,000 of property damage. 300 or 250, it's either 250 or 300, depends on the insurance company. Bodily injury per person. So 300 bodily injury per person, and then 500 bodily injury per accident. All right, so 1, 3, and 5. If you can just remember those numbers, that's what you want to have covered. It'll cost you a little bit more if you don't have it yet, but it's not. We're talking, $8
Okay.
a month or something like that.
All right. That's great.
Lastly, are you carrying any life insurance outside of work by chance?
No.
All right, gotcha. And Tim either?
No.
Okay, good. This won't be so much for you, Kim, but folks, if you need life insurance and you're gonna use your work life insurance when you separate from service, don't do that. That is too expensive. You want to get your own private policy before you leave, because if you don't, you'll end up like me. And that's why, hold on, you need my book, if I can find it, right here. Strategic Money Planning, Sales Pitch. I have a chapter on it. Do not rely on your employer for life insurance. Don't do that. All right, sweet. So, good stuff. All right, so Kim, let's talk about estate planning. What do we have for our wills, if anything?
Nothing.
Okay. Does either your company, I bet they do, but or maybe the county, do they offer something through work, like through your open enrollment or something like that, where you can have estate planning services at a discount?
I think they do. I checked on that one time, but I never followed through.
All right, it'd be a good thing to have, especially if you're getting ready to hang up your boots here in a year and a half or so. So what we want, and this again for everybody, a will just directs who gets what at your death. That's it. It says, this is where I want my money to go. You have a will. You have an estate plan, I should say. It's through the county in the state of where you're domiciled. That might not be what you want, folks. So we want to make sure we identify what we want to happen in the case that we die. So we need a will. We need powers of attorney, which will say, and I'm a big proponent of durable power of attorney, which means it survives incapacity. That means if Kim has a heart attack, but she's not dead, she just laid up, her durable power of attorney allows Tim to have access to Kim's financial affairs without the need to go through probate or go get a court order. So a durable power of attorney is quite critical, and a lot of people overlook that. Durable, survives incapacity. So we want a durable power of attorney. Kim, I'm assuming that if you die, Tim gets all your money, and if he dies, you get all his money. And then if both y'all die, it goes to your kids, right?
Yes, that's correct.
Is that established as beneficiary designations on your retirement accounts?
Yes.
Okay. You hesitated. We sure about that?
No, because I just changed it from one son to the other. No, it is.
Okay, gotcha. Right on. Good. Just want to make sure. Living will is just a right to die clause, folks. So with Kim's case, she's telling his kid or her kid when to pull the plug. That's it. Say, hey, kid, don't worry about, you're not killing me. I'm telling you to pull the plug if I'm knee deep in coronavirus and I can't breathe. No real need for a living trust here. And then a healthcare directive. You know what a healthcare directive is, I assume.
Yes, I do.
All right. So that's for folks who don't or are not aware, it's just a power of attorney for healthcare. I need something like when I got my rotator cuff surgery, my wife, Charlotte, was who the doc talked to when I was under drugs. Ooh, I was so floating away. And you need all that. So what happens is when you go to an attorney or even like legalzoom.com, they're going to give you 4 docs: will, powers of attorney, living will, and healthcare proxy. So you're going to have 4 different documents. So when you go get your will done or your estate planning done, a lot of people just say, I'm getting my will done. You're not walking out with just a will. You're walking out with all these docs. And it'll probably cost you, $500 to $1,000. All right, cool. So let's go to, last, I want to go back to profile here. Looks like we're good there. Okay. Any other debt, Kim?
No debt.
That's what I want to do. Goals. All right. So when we get to Amarillo, okay, good. That looks good. What I'm having you do here is I'm having you basically take your equity in your home when you sell it in California, and I'm having you put all that equity into that new house, and you're going to have a $80,000 roughly will be your new loan amount, if that makes sense.
Yes, it does. That
Okay.
sounds good.
And if we're going to carry it for 30 years, we can do 15. I don't recommend you doing it over 15. You can pay more if you want, but run the loan for 30 years. You can always pay more if you need to, but don't tie yourself short with a 15-year loan, if that makes sense.
Yes, I agree.
Okay. Now, based on kind of where you said with investments, I just want to show you what I kind of came up with here. You're basically 60-40, moderately, moderate to moderate aggressive portfolio, Kim. That's at 100% where you should be, without question. I don't have any qualm with that at all, and that's a good place to be, in my opinion. But you're not swinging for the fences here. It's just a good, solid portfolio, diversified among many different asset classes. So, are you pretty comfortable with the way your investments are currently situated?
Well, I wanted to ask you a question about that because I was watching your Wellesley video just an hour ago or whatever. And so I checked on Vanguard and I can get the Wellesley. So I was wondering if that's where I should move my money.
Yep, 100%. Absolutely. I'm a big fan. Yep.
So out of this here, take that instead and go into the Wellesley?
Yep. Well,
Okay.
100%. In fact, if you're going to do that, let's go ahead and change your holdings to reflect that. We're going to go to profile because you're pretty close to retiring. The one thing we don't want to happen is we don't want you getting destroyed on a down market, if that makes sense. Not when you're about to retire. So we're going to go enter holdings. We got two. What I'm going to do, I'm going to go to Wellesley, which is VWINX, and you got 292,000. Divide that by 2804, and that's 10,281 shares. Yep, I think that is a good move, Kim, and I would suggest you do that sooner rather than later, if that makes sense.
Okay, sounds good.
Now, what I have for Tim, I have him in Wellington. So basically, we have Wellesley and Wellington. Basically the mirror image of itself. So Wellesley is more conservative, Wellington is more aggressive. Neither of those are swinging for the fences. But what I want to show you is if we do go to Wellesley, now you're 44 to 55 roughly. That's almost a smack dab moderate portfolio, somewhat conservative. But what you're going to see here is we're only giving you a 4.4% annual rate of return. Do you see that by chance?
Yes, I do.
That ain't much historically. And what I'm telling you and I'm telling everybody is that I err on the side of caution, folks. I do not want to be like we're going to get 12% rates of return or even historical rates. I just, if we get it, that's great. But let's err on the side of caution because I hate to say it, but once Kim and Tim hang up their boots, it's going to be awful hard to go back to work. It's just going to be tough. So we want to say, all right, let's make sure the plan looks pretty solid when we're running conservative numbers. You following that, Kim? Does that make sense?
Yeah. Oh, I totally agree with that.
All right. So let's, you ready to see some numbers here? Oh, wait, no, I didn't go into the pension yet. Hold on just a second.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, good. Jeez Louise. All right. So here's your pension. I just calculated what you had given me now. And I times it by 12. And you said there was no COLA. Is your pension, is it a 50% survivor benefit? How much is the survivor benefit?
You can pick, it depends on what you choose. There's 50%, 66%, 75%, depends on what you choose.
What, if it's 100% survivor benefit, let's just use that for example, what would the amount be? Any idea? Was this the amount at 100% survivor benefit?
No, 100% looks like it would be a annuity with the 15-year guarantee at 2620.72 for him. Does that make sense?
Yep. And so is this amount at 30 at hold on a sec. Yep, that does make sense. Is this amount here at 2896? Is that with a 50% survivor benefit?
62.23.
Okay, good, sweet. 60. That's okay. How about a 50%? Does it give you more?
Yeah, I'll get 3,145, and if I pass, he'll get 1,572.
All right, good. Let's do that then. 37. Let's do the 50%. Again, you don't have to make that decision right now, but just I like the 50% survivor benefit. You do net a little bit more each and every year, and you're only going to be 62, so you got many moons of to go for that income to come in.
Yeah.
And that was gross. That no taxes coming out of that.
Correct.
Okay, gotcha.
It will be taxed though.
To feds, but not to the state because you're going to be in Tejas.
Okay.
How about old Tim? We got his pension on here, but is that what? Tell me the 50% survivor benefit for him too, if you would. If you don't know, it's fine. We just leave it on.
I don't know. I really don't know.
Okay. Let's just assume that's it. At 32,400 a year, which is 50% survivor benefit. And that's $2,700 a month. I think that's pretty much what you had given me.
Correct.
It starts at his retirement. Okay, cool. All right. So
and he gets a COLA.
Yes. Yeah. I just put general inflation on here.
Okay.
If that works. So basically for the next, when you all retire, you'll have pensions coming in at $70,000 a year. And then you'll have, what was I getting ready to say? But then a big portion will go to cover your stupid health care, if that makes sense. But you'll still have pensions coming in, which is good.
Are you there?
Okay. Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes, my screen went blank for a minute there. Okay.
So I was just saying, when you guys retire, you're gonna have 70,000 of income coming in, and for the first few years, a good amount will go to healthcare, but you'll still have some money coming in.
Yes.
Okay. Good. All right. Any other income? I mean, you may or may not pick up part-time job. I don't know, but any other income, that you have a pension other than Social Security and pension and your investments, anything else?
No, that's all we have.
Good. Nothing wrong with that. All right. Good. So you ready to crunch some numbers here?
Let's do it.
All right. A survey says, remember Richard what's his name? Richard Dawson or something like that? Survey says, now this is going to be interesting. I have no idea what it's going to say. So this will be interesting. What we're doing is we're going to crunch some numbers to see what is the likelihood of Kim and Tim having liquid assets when they die at 90 years old. I don't know, but it's crunching them. It's crunching them. Oh, 100%. Interesting.
I can't believe it.
So why is that? Well, let's take a look. We always want to go to cash flows. All right, so let me just make sure all this looks good. I'm just bearing me. First of all, let's just do this a little bit. Hold on, I'll get back to that here in just a second. That looks good. Okay, good. And that looks pretty good. So let me just go in here real fast, and we're gonna add some numbers here. All right, hold on just a second, if you would. Boink. Right there, pension. All right. All right, that looks good. All right, sweet. So what's happening here? This is interesting. When I first ran that, I had you with a mortgage that was twice what I had. I had you having the same property as you do in California, about $350,000, which meant you had 180,000, something like that, mortgage, Kim. And so as such, we were at, I think, 82%. So downsizing your property from California to Texas made this go from, I can't remember off the top of my head, I think it was like 82 to 100. That one thing right there changed the trajectory of your retirement. Now, I want to be clear, folks. This is not just for Kim. This is for everybody. Kim's got pensions and Social Security. So even if this said 0, does that mean the retirement plan was not a success? No. Why? Because she still has $70,000 a year of pension income, and we'll figure out the Social Security. I can't remember off the top of my head, but let's just say $50,000 a year of Social Security. She still has income coming in. She is not eating cat food. Even if this says 0, whip-de-flip-and-do. She still has pension and Social Security money come in. I cannot tell you, Kim, when I deal with like law enforcement, stuff like that, and we're like 15%, I'm like, who gives a rat's behind? You still got $88,000 of pension income. You just ran out of liquid cash because you spent all your money while you're waiting for your pension to kick in usually from 55 to 65. Now that might not be what somebody wants to do, but it's not like they're living under the bridge with the homeless meth heads. You see what I'm saying?
Yes.
So let's go to cash flows. Oh, first thing we'll do.
Can I ask you a question, Josh?
Yeah, fire away.
So what you just showed me, all that is my Social Security at 62 and our pensions gives us the 100% problem. We're not even talking about the investments yet.
Social Security at 67. Social Security at 67. Now we
Okay.
are talking investments. We are. Let me show
Okay.
you. So what this is you see that dark blue line in the middle right there?
Yes.
All right, that is your median liquid net worth. So your investments essentially is what this is. And what's happening here is you're going to see your investments start here at basically $710,000 by the time you guys retire, roughly. All right. And then they start dropping to 706, 655, 590, 541, 498, 480. And then they start leveling off to going up a little bit. Why is it dropping? What's going on right there?
Start pulling from my investments.
Yes, but how come it stops dropping right here? I want to take a guess. What happened here? It all of a sudden starts going up again.
I don't know.
It's when you start taking Social Security. So right here we have you all taking Social Security at your full retirement age for both you and Tim at 67. I'm not saying that's the best way to do it yet. We'll dive into this a little bit, but what's happening is you're basically supplementing your pension with your investment assets, if that makes sense, Kim. And then once 67 kicks in, you're like, well, now let's start taking our Social Security. And now we got Social Security plus we have our investments, plus we have our pension. And now we have more money coming in that's going out the door. And so what's happening here is, and now the median, again, the 50% of the time we have more, 50% of the time we have less, the median liquid assets doesn't include anything, doesn't include the trucks, doesn't include the house, doesn't include the firearms, doesn't include anything. It's just your investments and your cash, your liquid assets starts building back up again because you're adding to your portfolio. You're not spending down your portfolio anymore, if that makes sense.
Okay.
Now, what you'll see here is you'll see at 67, 5% of the time you had less than $289,000. 5% of the time you had more than $745,000. You see that box right there, Kim?
Yes, I see that.
Okay. So basically what we're saying is because you have the Wellington or the Wellesley, excuse me, as your primary holding, there's not a lot of volatility here. It's not fluctuating much. And that's why the Wellesley is such a good investment for you right now. Because you're pretty much a short-term investor at this stage. Never mind the fact that you're about to retire. That makes you short-term inherently. But in my estimation, and we're going to want to start pulling from your portfolio while you're allowing Social Security to kick in until you're 67. We don't want a big drop like we had in 2008 or 2000. We just can't have that happen. So Wellesley is a perfect fund in that regard because, look, who knows? We could get nuked tomorrow. Wellesley has never had that kind of big drop ever. And again, I can't guarantee it never will, but not likely to happen, if that makes sense. So Wellesley is a wonderful place to still be invested, but without taking on a huge amount of risk, if that makes sense.
Yes, it does.
And I'm only giving what I say, 4.4%. We're not, again, that's pretty conservative. Now, secondly, I want to go to cash flows. Remember, we have you guys spending $3,500 a month on healthcare. So we're going to go to expenses. All right, so here in 2022, this is when you guys sell your house and you're going to buy a house in Texas. All right, this is basically the last year you're making any money. And so your taxes went, because you're only working for 6 months out of the year, the taxes went down. You moved to Texas. Now, here in 2023, we have $70,000 of income. That's your pensions. We have $137,000 of expenses. So we're like, whoa, where's that expenses? So what I want to do here is I want to say, where's that expenses coming from? Well, we got 2023. That's your living expense, 85, 86,000 a year. Here's your housing, and here's your healthcare. Now, that's the $3,500, and we're inflating that at 5.5% a year. All right, so it's not just $3,500; it's actually growing even more than the rate of return on your investments are. So that's pretty significant. That's a big expense right there. 42,000, 9,000 in housing. Housing would be, if we click on this link right here, your housing is going to be, you have a small mortgage principal. So, and this is literally, you're only having an $80,000 loan. So you could buy more if you want to, but we can put that off to later. Property tax, homeowners insurance, and mortgage P&I, principal and interest. It's costing roughly $10,000 a year for the house in Amarillo. At some point, you just pay that off after you retire for a couple of years. You have a better gauge of your true expenses. You might just want to pay that off. But anyway, it's not like we're living cheap. I mean, we're drawing a $10,000 a month for the first couple of years, easy when it comes to expenses. Now, once y'all go on Medicare, you can see it drops, from $27,000 for healthcare to $14,000, and that's just, again, Part B, Part D, your medical supplemental policy, Medicare supplement, your Medigap, and then any out of pocket. So even though it drops, it's not. I mean, it's a significant drop, but still not cheap, if that makes sense. And you're still spending, that's $8,000 a month in terms of expenditures. But that's not it. We still have our goals, our vacation goals: 10,000 adjusted for inflation, 10,000, and we're doing that for 10 years until we're in our 70s. So check this out. The first couple of years, you'll see these net flows: negative 11,000, negative 80,000, negative 84. Do you see that by chance?
Yes, I can see that.
So that means you're not on Social Security yet. You're just living off your portfolio and your pension, all right? Because you only have 70,000 coming in, but you got 150,000 going out. So the rest, you got to make it up from someplace, and you're pulling it from your Wellesley portfolio, if that makes sense.
Oh, okay. Okay. Yes, it does.
And you're going to do that until right here. And then what happens here is we start taking Social Security. So now we don't have that much to pull anymore. We only got $6,000, $7,000. And then what happens here at 72, you see it goes from parentheses to no parentheses. Now we're starting to add back to the portfolio, Kim, because your required minimum distributions, we're starting to add back to your portfolio because you have more money coming in that's going out the door. You following that by chance?
Yeah, I think I got that part.
All right. So basically what's happened, this is what happens for most people. The first 10 years is when you're going to be partying. That's when you're going to be living the retirement life. And in order to do that, you need money. Well, you got to take the money from someplace, and you're going to take it, in this case, from your portfolio to supplement your pension. And then later on down the road, you're like, now we're in our 72s, mid 70s. We're probably going to cut back a little bit. But now the government is saying, that's great, Kim and Tim, but you still have to take money out of your portfolio to pay taxes. And you're like, well, we don't even need that money. Government says, we don't care. We just want the taxes. And you're like, all right, we'll pay taxes, but we'll reinvest it, if that makes sense.
Yes.
Okay. All right, so that looks pretty good to me. Your total tax bill is $700,000. Not much you can do about that, frankly, because you are in Texas now. And the facts are, you can't escape the federal tax, man. You can't. It's just, there's not much you would want to do to reduce your long-term taxes. And the reason I say it is because the more taxes you pay today, the less potential for that portfolio to grow for you, because you are going to be pulling money out of that portfolio at a pretty good clip the first couple of years. So,
can I ask a question?
Yeah, by all means.
Okay, so we're talking about I have to pull money out of the portfolio. We're talking about my 401, right?
Yep.
What am I doing with my cash?
You're living on that as well. So
okay.
We'll show you. So what we're saying here is we're saying, look, here's your accounts, and we're going to go withdraw from accounts. We're basically taking some from your. Actually, I gotta go. Hold on just a second. I think I got to change one of your accounts. Hold on just a second. One thing about the software is, Tim, I bet it says taxable. No, it says 401k. There we go. Good. It does say 401k. Yeah, that's right. All right, sweet. So let me just go back then. What's happening here is we're pulling from your cash initially, and then when the cash is gone, you'll be pulling from your 401k, if that makes sense.
Oh, okay. That sounds good. Would it be, or am I going to look at like a 5% distribution, 6%, or? That a lot.
You don't even look at anything like that for you guys. You're going to look at the amount of money you need to live on. I mean, literally that. So you're saying, look, Tim, let's go back to cash flows. You're going to say this. So this way you're telling your husband, you say, look, man, we're going to need $80,000 that first year, full year retirement, $80,000 from our portfolio. If you have $80,000 sitting in a cash account, that's freaking awesome. You see what I'm saying? Next year, we're going to need $85,000. If you have $85,000 in a cash account, well, you won't. So you got to tap into your portfolio. It has nothing to do with distribution percentages at all. It says,
Okay.
how much do we need to live?
Okay, got it.
Now, that will drop off significantly once you take Social Security. So now here's the second part of this question. What if we take Social Security earlier? So let's run that number real quick. All right, so here, not only are we not running out of money, we're leaving the kids and grandkids $646,000 on top of a house, on top of vehicles and all that. That's great, but let's see if we take Social Security earlier as opposed to taking it at 67. So now we're going to take it at 62. What does this do to change things here real quick? So we're going to look over here at proposed plan, and yeah, see, that's not ideal. So here's what's happening is our portfolio, our retirement success goes from 100 to 84%. You see that by chance?
Yes, I do.
And our retirement liquidity that we're leaving at death drops from 646 to 404. Now, the reason for that is because we've reduced so what's happening here is, let's see if I can't go to, I guess I can't right here. But anyway, what's happening here is once you guys retire, because Social Security is kicking in, you're not taking as much out of your portfolio on the front part of your retirement, as you can probably see here a little bit. The drawback, though, is that meant you're getting less each and every year that you survive. So the longer you live, the less valuable Social Security becomes because you took it early, if that makes sense. And so if you look at cash flows, your Social Security won't be nearly the extent as it was if you waited till 67. So if we go to income flows under the current plan, if we wait till we're full retirement age, Kim, you'll get 67,000 in Social Security if you wait until you both hit 67, if that makes sense. You see that right there?
Yes, I do.
But if you take it early, instead of at 67 getting 67,000, if you take it early, when you guys are at 67, hold on just a second here. Well, grinds the gears and crunches the numbers. Crunch away, software, crunch away. I probably have too many windows open. And I'm looking at this number right. Yeah, so check that out. So when you guys are 67, it went from 67,000, I forgot what it was, 67, I think, to 48. So that's it's 20,000 difference a year. And you guys are still going to be around for another 22 years from here. So while you're getting some Social Security on the front end of 41,000, 42, 43, 44, 45, you're sacrificing 20,000 a year for the next, literally for that until you die. And that's not a good move. Don't do that. And not only that, but you're reducing your likelihood of having liquid assets. Now, look, I try to get people at 75%. If I can get people at 75, I'm pretty comfortable. I've yet to be convinced that most people should take Social Security early unless they really think they're about to keel over. I just don't think it makes sense. And if you guys don't smoke and don't drive drunk and jump out of airplanes without a parachute, you really need to take it at 67 for sure.
Okay, I hear you on that.
Now we can run one other thing. I'm just curious while we're thinking about what if you took at 70. I'm not a big fan of doing this either. Because now we're relying too much on your portfolio. It's not worth it. So you can see we went from, if we took it at full retirement age, $646,000 is what you leave with 100% retirement success. If we took it early, it went to 84%, and you're only leaving 400,000. So that's definitely a no-go. If we took it later, our retirement success went down, but we did leave a little bit more, and that's not worth it. So you definitely take it at your full retirement age at 67, if that makes sense.
Yes, it sure does. There was something I was going to ask you. It'll probably come back to me.
Well, while you're thinking about it, a lot of people are going to say, well, what about doing Roth conversions and stuff? All right, so here is your estimated effective tax rate without doing anything fancy schmancy. I like this a lot, actually. See how just flat that is right there, Kim? There's no what I call the widow's tax trap. Now, you guys aren't that far removed from each other and birthday stuff. But look, at the end of the day, the time that you're wanting to pay the least amount of tax is right in these years when you first retire, so you can go enjoy it. So here you're paying 4%, 6%, 9%. in these first 10 years of retirement. That's the best time to really enjoy without having to pay a lot of money on taxes. Now, what's happening is you are pulling money from your IRA accounts, which would be 401k, which would be an IRA account at some point, and you're paying tax on that. So essentially, you're doing a Roth conversion, but you're spending it to live on, as opposed to put in a Roth IRA. This is absolutely the way to go. So, again, I did not plan this. I just say, don't pull money forward to pay tax on it while you're young, because you don't know what retirement is going to be. And if the markets go south or anything happens, you don't get that tax money back that you pulled forward. You don't do that. So what we're saying is, say, look, live off your retirement accounts until Social Security kicks in, and then just pay the taxes. You're not paying a significant amount of tax. You're just not.
But so you're thinking maybe take some money out of the 401 or whatever it is at the time of retirement and put them into, put them into the, what did you just call that?
Roth?
Yeah, but I thought I saw a video of yours that said, so let's say I put 50,000 into a Roth. I can't touch it for 5 years after retirement. Did I misunderstand that?
Well, you could. It's just it won't be tax free.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
For your situation, first of all, you got pensions, and a lot of times if you have pensions, doing Roth conversions are not a great thing anyway. Part two of this, not only do you have pensions, but you're living off your retirement accounts anyway. You're pulling money from these accounts right here. I'm highlighting this net flows. That is the amount you're pulling from your accounts, which is going to be taxable to you as ordinary income. And so to do Roth conversions on top of that, on top of your pension, doesn't make any sense. So without question, you should not be doing Roth conversions. That's just all there is.
Okay.
As long as you're waiting to take Social Security until your full retirement age, which without question you should. So 2 things happen here. 3, I can tell you right now. Wellesley Fund, cannot bang the table hard enough. Wellesley Fund, absolutely, immediately. Part 2, wait until you're 67, your full retirement age, to take Social Security. And part 3, don't do any Roth conversions. I do a ton of videos on Roth conversions. I wrote a book on Roth conversions. It doesn't make sense for you. It just doesn't.
Okay, I know what I was going to ask you.
Yeah.
As I've listened to a lot of your videos, and they're really helpful. I really do appreciate them. Because, okay, so let's say the market it drops. And so I don't want to pull any money out of my portfolio there because it's down. So I want to have cash that I can pull. I don't know if I need it 20 for that year. So I think I'm not going to be able to do that.
You're not going to be able to do that because you're fully invested in the Wellington and the Wellesley.
Because if I have to use my cash for, like, let's say till I can get on at age 65 to get health care, then I have to use some of my cash. If we're saying it's going to be $3,500 a month,
right, then
we'll run out of cash.
Yeah. And
I won't be able to protect myself.
Well, what's going to happen is once you have a couple of years into retirement, I hate to say you don't need to protect yourself, but it's okay to pull from your portfolio. I mean, you're not pulling a huge amount out once Social Security kicks in. If we're in dire times, it's okay to take Social Security early for one of you guys. You have this ace up,
Josh,
Mm-hmm.
Josh, hold on. I gotta let my dogs out.
Okay.
Okay, let me see how to get you back. No. Okay, here you are.
Okay. So remember, what's happening is you're saying, hey, once I retire and the market falls and I've already spent all my cash, I'm 2 years into retirement, the market falls, I've already spent all my cash. What do I do then? Well, it's okay to pull some out from the market without question because your cash is zeroed out. You're not running out of money. It's just not happening. I mean, ideally, we don't want you to have to do that, but what's the alternative? The alternative is to have too much in cash. And the nice thing about the Wellesley Fund is the Wellesley Fund should, I can't say will, but it should protect you from any significant market declines. And so you should be just fine. And then by 2 years into retirement, you're like, yeah, I got a pretty good gauge of how much we're going to spend because you really don't know right now. I mean, that's the thing I tell new people are, have yet to retire. So you truly don't know what your expenditure is going to be because you've never retired. So we want you to live off cash the first couple of years in retirement just to get a gauge of how much it's truly going to cost you. But when that time comes, we got to cross that bridge. And then we say, what's the most opportune time here? I'm out of cash. My portfolio is down. I'm not yet on Social Security. What's the best opportunity there? And we don't know. We have to wait and see at that point. But be it as it may, the first couple of years, you should be living off your cash for sure, because we want you to avoid having to take money out of your portfolio in the first part of retirement if the markets go south. Did you fall on that by chance?
Yes, that totally makes sense. I appreciate that. Thanks for explaining that.
Part two, now remember, we don't have you saving anything for the next year and a half. I would, if you have surplus cash flow right now, Kim, I would be building up that cash without question. I tell you, no one has ever called me saying I can't sleep at night because I have too much cash as I go into retirement. So look, you invest to the extent that you get a match from your company, and Tim as well. After that, if you have excess money, a couple $1,000 every here, a couple $1,000 there, I would just build up your cash portfolio. Cash is king. It really is. And you can't have too much cash. So I'm just telling you right now, invest what they give you, invest it in the funds we're talking about. And then after that, move it. Just say, look, I got excess money. Let's just build up this cash. If we can survive on 4 years of cash, that would get you over the finish line till Medicare. And then you're golden. At that point, it's just freaking, then you're golden.
Okay. I hear you on that. That sounds right. Perfect.
Well, that's all I got. Does this
I'm
help?
really encouraged. I'm really strongly encouraged with all this information you've planned for me, and I see where I'm supposed to go and where my trail is going to lead to retirement, and I think it's great.
What do you think old Tim's going to say? Is he going to be stoked, or is he be like, I don't believe
no,
it?
He wants to retire today. He's going to be excited. He can't think he doesn't want to work past 62 and a half for sure.
All right. Well,
my job's different. My job's different. I could if I wanted to, but I really would not like to.
No, you got to get out of California. I mean, ideally work one more until you're 62 and a half. But I'm telling you, if Tim comes back and he's about to jump off a bridge because he can't take his crappy old boss, preaching, SJW stuff, just quit. Life's too short. You just quit. But if y'all can stay till 62 and a half, man, you're fine, Kim. You're not running out of money. It's just not happening.
Awesome. I appreciate it so much.
Hey, thanks, Kim. If let me hang up. Just hang tight. I'm just going to stop the record here real quick. Cool. All right. Oops. Are you still there?